What an amazing week. Welcome back to Bitchin' for another week. We thought we'd do another Bitchin' because of all the news that's been coming out of Canberra lately. Not all good. Of course, we've lost our Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, and we've gained the old Prime Minister, Mr. Rudd. I hope you followed that. So for those people who don't like both of them, I'm sorry, you've got one of them back. The recycled Prime Minister, he's been spoken about. But let me welcome the rest of the panel and then we'll talk more in details. We've got Cameron Kippen at the end there. Thank you, Cameron. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hello, Natalie Foster. Welcome.
Hello, thank you very much.
Barbara McNaught, thank you very much. Fresh from the Men in Black Ball. You did a wonderful job.
Thank
Raised
you.
lots of money for men's depression and every other thing that you do. Well done, thanks for being here today.
Thank
and the
you.
man who's freshly off today tonight, but he hasn't done anything wrong, Ted Ball, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Love having you on the
Yeah,
show.
Look, it's lovely being here, and it's lovely to have Barb's here. She reminds me of Alexandra Bastido from The Champions, with that bouffant beehive.
Especially for today.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to go straight into... Oh, the booing. We're not at the football now, Cameron. Can I just say, it's been an amazing week. Of course, Julia Gillard was deposed in a challenge that she thought she would win. Unfortunately, she didn't. Kevin Rudd, who said he'd never challenge under any circumstance, then had a circumstance and challenged. Check out the new advertisement that the Liberal Party has already started putting to air. We'll watch about 30 seconds and we'll come back and talk to Ted.
Chaos, dysfunction, the dysfunction in the government group.
Need to get out of this idea that Kevin is a messiah who will deliver an election back to us.
Rudd had contempt for the Cabinet. Was the Australian public worked out that he had contempt for them as well?
Say that this bickering and destabilisation must stop. Well, there's a good idea. That's a great idea.
I think we get the hint. There's a litany there of ex-ministers, ex-politicians from the Labor Party, basically turning on Labor and saying they've used what they've said in the past about Kevin Rudd in that promotion. The Liberal Party are very smart to be using it. They're trying to show Australians that Labor can't run the party, they can't run the country. And to take on a former Prime Minister, what would Bob Hawke would have said? If you can't govern your party, you can't govern the nation. Ted, you've got a story we're going to talk about that.
He also said, any boss who doesn't give the day off to us today's a bum. Well, I have to admit that I was part of the minority. I was part of the 27% who actually liked Julia Gillard.
I was too.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and I think historically it'll be amazing to see how she is reported.
What's happened? She's got challenged. Rudd's back in as the Prime Minister, Mr. Rudd. Now he's got a new cabinet coming up. He's going to announce his new cabinet.
Well, this ad that we just saw, and yeah, good on the Libs getting it ready. Of course, I mean, Brian Freddie would
part
have
of the
known
job.
it was going to happen. But all those people who are saying these things about Kevin 57, really, most of them, I think, have pulled the pin anyway. So at least they're honourable people. They haven't sort of said something and then did something
Do you think it's a bit of a shambles? Do you think the public looks at it as a shambles government? When you consider, right, they got rid of him and told us how bad he was and they had to get rid of him. Then Julia Gillard took over and said, I'm going to bring a bad government back into line. Then they got rid of the good government that wasn't that good in the public's eye, brought back the man that was the bad government. Now all of a sudden he's reformed, he's a new man. Do you think
can you run that by me again? You lost me on that bit where I went past go and didn't pick up 200.
Basically, Kevin Rudd, can he reshape himself? And do you think, in the end, when we do have an election, do you think, Ted, that he'll be able to say, all's changed, all's new, all's forgiven, all of the people who hated me now love me, vote for us and you'll get 3 more years of this wonderful government?
Well, I think there are two words.
No way?
No. The words are Bill Shorten. And I really think that Bill Shorten is playing some incredible game here. Look, I know people say that with
Do you reckon
Bill...
he's setting himself up as a leader?
Yes, people do say that with Bill you get a set of steak knives. But I really think he wants to see Kevin go in and then this
Test
whole
the water?
movement... Well, no, actually to... And he won't win. I think, again, I think we all agree that Labor will not win the next election. And so, therefore, will Kevin Rudd handle opposition well? I don't think so, because any man who, before he does an interview, does this to the camera...
And this to his glasses.
Yeah, and this to his glasses, and then he says, OK, let's rock and roll!
Look, I'd love to sit here and talk, but I've got a zip.
Yeah!
All right, can I move down the panel quickly, because I know that we don't want to talk about Kevin Rudd all day. What do you think? They put him back in there because I believe they thought that they would lose more seats under Julia Gillard. They didn't like Kevin Rudd. 45% of the cabinet or the caucus didn't want him.
Correct.
Is that what you're seeing, Barbara?
Definitely. You're 100%
Do you think they've got a
right.
chance with him?
They have a small chance of confusing people even more and taking their attention away from what was wrong before. Definitely. Correct. Because also people that did not like Julia
Yes.
can have, you know, the chance of thinking maybe we like him.
Do you think people wanted to throw Julia out themselves? They wanted her to stay until the election?
What's an interesting
Well,
point?
I don't know why you would change her at this point in time. We're only a few months
Silly,
out
isn't it?
from... It's ridiculous.
Do you
You
think it
didn't
might
want
have
him
been
the
planned?
first time round, so why are you bringing him back?
Do you think it was planned, Cameron?
Yes, I think they're in damage control, and I think all those who live by the sword die by the sword. It's
Here's
the
a
end of an
theory.
era.
Here's a theory that I've had. I think Julia Gillard knew she was going. I actually think that challenge she gave, that she would resign if she lost, or Kevin would resign if he lost the challenge. She knew that she was going to lose, and it was her way out of not having to face Tony Abbott at the election.
I don't
That's
know.
just a
I
theory.
don't-
I'm not
her
saying I know
reaction-
anything.
I reckon she
I've
could
heard
take
that
on
theory.
Tony better than Rudd.
Yeah,
you
I
agree.
think
I
she was.
think
Can I
we
just
have a
quickly,
party
before we
on
move
this
on,
already.
We all disagree with your Fred, so
I want to show
that's
you
why
a photo.
we're moving on.
Can we just
folks.
show quickly the photo of Julia Gillard? This was a very sad way of representing Julia Gillard at Centrelink applying for the dole. What do you all, just quickly, because we've got to move on to the next
It's
topic.
disgusting.
Disgusting, Barbara?
Super disgusting.
Unrespectful, maybe?
It's just, yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
disrespectful. You wouldn't be doing that, I don't think, to a bloke.
Yep.
And
to
she
anyone,
was our
to
Prime
anyone.
Minister, so can we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a bit of respect?
Respect, I agree.
Australian politics is a laughing stock
Yeah.
in the world.
It's sad that this woman, being a woman, right, has put her heart into this, regardless of whether I agree with her or not, or anyone agrees with her. She's done an amazing job in public office. She's tried her best. She's put her heart into it. She's been deposed. Let her go in peace, but appreciate she was a great Prime Minister in her own right. She did a great job. She was the first woman Prime Minister. And I think for those people to bag her now while she's out, it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And this country needs to unite together rather than keep throwing mud at her. She's out now. You can all forget her now.
People have to learn to stop being personal.
Exactly.
They get too
Yeah.
personal. They get
So
mixed
true,
up
Barb,
between
yeah.
politics and personal affairs.
Tell me about the story, Barbara, you've got there about the lovely dresses.
But just to close
Yes,
about the
you want to close?
politicians.
Go. Oh, yes. by all means, go for it. What are you going to close?
There's a saying.
Yes.
If a politician says yes, he means maybe. If he says maybe, he means no. If he says no, he's not a politician.
That's your policy, isn't it?
And if his lips are moving, he's lying.
Thank you
So
very
that
much.
explains. Closure. Let's go back
What's
to
this all
fashion.
about, dresses?
Oh, there is this Montreal-based fashion designer Ying Gao, obviously
Yep.
he's not Canadian, who came up with a design that pays the ultimate compliment to its owner. She has created a pair of dresses that light up and twist around when you stare directly at
So
them.
give me if I was wearing one of those dresses, if
Oh,
you
you'd
were all
look
staring
good.
at it,
I mean, you're already lighting up.
You're made
So-
for one of those dresses,
You've
mate.
lit up.
You
you're
light
not even
up
looking
my
at me.
life.
How does it
Darling.
work if you don't look at me?
Well, you just know you're ugly because
stays
nobody's
dull.
checking you out.
And the dress
High
just goes
batteries
pale black.
going there.
Is that what it does? It actually lights up, does it?
Yeah,
If someone
it
looks
actually
at you.
twists around as well.
The whole dress.
Well, it can do. You can turn it on to
Guys.
twist
Does
around.
it fall
I
down?
think she got it all wrong. I'm sorry.
It needs to fall
It should
down.
light up so people do look at you.
Does it
because
lift up?
imagine those that never light up once in a
So
room.
it's by looking at them. That's why it lights up.
What if you run
Ted,
out
it
of
won't work
batteries?
on me. I'm not wearing
Only
it.
when people look too much. And it was.
And you...
What do you think of it, Barbara?
Oh.
Would you wear a dress like that? I mean, I know
tell
you're
I
into
have a
fashion.
much better idea. Only for the open.
Your dress would just burn off with all those people looking. I could just see you combust
Dear
you.
lovely. What a lovely guy
Yeah.
you are,
I
Freddie.
think so.
Darling,
Yes.
thanks for your compliment.
That's
I
all
tell
right.
you what I think.
That
They
is-
got
it
it
was a
completely.
compliment.
She got it. Sorry, Ing Gao.
Yep.
You know what she should have done? She should design a dress that changes the color from occasion to occasion. Can you imagine you've got copyright? Can you imagine? You've got
Trademark.
a classic, beautiful.
You've got to be careful with trademarks on the
Goes
show. You gotta come
red,
up-
goes green, goes black.
You never know, Barbara. You're very right.
idea.
You
This is
need
something
to
you should
trademark
work
that
on,
with
Barbara.
IP Australia.
I will.
It doesn't always
I
help,
will.
but it's
Guys,
good.
you are my high witness. It
Go,
was the
hey,
first time.
dib, dib, dob,
What do you
dob.
reckon, Nat?
Yes.
Would you wear something like that? Would you like to be?
Would I wear
you
a
know,
dress, I
curved
think, is
out?
the question. I don't think you need this. If you've got a set of Hooters, you don't need something that lights up. Bryn Edelstone, you won't see her with a light-up dress. She just
No.
gets her puppies out there and bing, bang, bong.
Absolutely.
Did we have a look at the graphic with the dress on it? Have we looked at
We
that
saw
yet?
the
Yeah,
hairy
we
leg.
saw.
There it is there. That's
There's
the one we're
the-
going to talk about. That's what it looks like, folks. What do you reckon, Cameron? Because you're a man that likes to
I know,
look.
I like, yeah, and I've
You
only
like a
one
good look.
eye. I think it helps the one-eyed people in the world. But also the other thing is I could find my socks in the dark.
Glowing
Or,
in the
or
dark.
my
If
under-
it was your
underwear.
glowing sock.
I didn't know
Well,
you
that's
wore
a
your
very
socks
good
so
idea.
high.
Absolutely. Yes. You don't know what to do with them.
He has a
There you
whole
are.
body sock.
Ted,
I
would
keep
you
my
let your
iPhone
wife
in
wear
with
something like that?
Oh, look,
Here we go. Ted's telling me if his wife would wear
would
something.
I let my
Would you want her to wear
well,
something
Julie
like
can wear whatever she wants. Although it's funny, you know,
you be
every
jealous?
day she says, "What should I wear tomorrow?" And you know what I say every time? Nothing.
Oh.
You
And that's
say
been-
nothing?
Sexy man,
we've
you.
been married for 36 years. And she
Has
always
she ever
makes the
had-
right decision.
Was she listening to you sometimes?
For the women,
No,
if your partner, if your male partner had a suit that did the same thing, would you be a little bit peeved off for all the women looking at them? Say I was your partner and I was wearing the
Not at all.
revealing
Depends
suit.
which part lights up.
I would be concerned about sweating too. Surely, if you're out at a dance
but
club,
with
you
nan-
start sparking off.
No, but
Imagine
with,
if you
I
short
see,
circuited.
steady on. But with
Yes. And you've
nanotechnology,
gotta be
what you
careful with
can
the
do is
dresses.
change the
Sound as
colour
well.
of the sweating.
People are looking at me. Oh my
You're just
God.
talking to yourself here.
I think we'll move on now.
Yeah.
Natalie, please tell us about this wonderful story about hairy legs.
Do you know what gets me, Fred?
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the
look.
graphic first, so that we know what we're talking
I
about.
think what's happened here is a little bit stereotypical.
Here it is.
There we go. Barbara,
Why
hang
did
on.
you take that shot of me under the desk?
I thought it was Barbara McNaught.
Barbara McNaught does a story on beautiful dresses and they give me hairy legs.
Absolutely.
That's very
Squirting.
telling. No, apparently there's something happening over in China with their
Too much
version
by the
of
looks
Twitter.
Yeah.
And they're saying this is a new trend for ladies. That's apparently supposed to be ladies' legs.
Why do those legs look out of
it's a
proportion
pair
with the feet?
It's a pair of stockings which has got hair which looks scarily like pubic hair to me.
Yep.
That looks very, very.
Been grafted.
It does, doesn't it? But
We
what
need
they're
a
doing
podiatrist here.
is basically if you're on the subway
Yeah.
or the train, to stop perverts from picking you up or touching you inappropriately, you wear your stockings.
Do you?
But you were saying something, Barbara, about
I know some
Would you-
men that love hairy legs.
hairy legs.
Yeah.
And
Rub
hairy
himself all over the
everything.
stockings.
So, darling, that was just turn them on.
Are you serious? You know
Yes.
men like that?
Yeah.
Does
I
your
heard of
husband
a
like?
man like this. Let's keep
Does
it
your
this way.
husband like a bit of hair?
Sorry?
Does your husband like hair?
You see, politics are personal. You see what I mean, darling?
I'm not going there. I'm not doing a Howard Sattler.
Remember Julia Roberts when she was at that ceremony and
crossed
she
her
had the
legs.
big
Oh,
hair
yes,
thing
yes.
happening?
Right.
So some guys do actually like it. But I'm on a bit of a budget, but I am concerned about my own safety and welfare on public transport. So I've started growing my own hair.
Yeah, nicely.
Because you don't need stockings, you just need to, just not shave, which is what I've done. But we can't find it anywhere on the internet.
No.
So what we're thinking is using Cameron's back hair,
Absolutely.
we can actually start doing our own, manufacturing our own.
Well,
You
Cameron-
can do your dresses and we'll do our hairy stockings.
Cameron, do you
Yes.
find the
Okay.
story
For
appealing?
production.
Yes, I do actually. I mean, I
seeing
must
as I was
admit.
talking about the Prime Minister, I'll knit a kangaroo out of the hair.
That's
What a
right.
wonderful idea.
I was.
Quickly, Cameron, wrap it
I
up.
was just going to say, yes, there are people who do, in fact, find hairy legs very attractive. And
As a
so
podiatrist, you'd see a lot of people with different types of
Like
legs.
women,
see-
are we
yes,
talking hairy-legged women?
hairy-legged women, yeah. As a podiatrist, no, not really. It's the last thing I'm looking for is hair,
Okay.
really.
Fair enough.
when people say I love running
All right.
my fingers through your hair.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You normally
Keep you
talk
nice
about-
and warm.
imagine, Oh, I love touching
Would
with
you
all the hairy
wear that,
legs.
Nat? Would you wear those
I don't
stockings?
need to, I've got my own.
Okay, what about you, Barbara?
Winter,
Would
for
you wear
goodness
it?
sake.
Never.
No.
Oh, your own
Too
hairy
much fashion
legs.
sense, I think. Cameron, wrap it up with your last topic. You've got
Yes,
a
I'm
great
talking
story.
about, of all things, sexualisation of children, and that there's much concern has been expressed across the board. But there's a Perth school that have actually taken this to heart. They're very concerned about young children, as young
is
as
the school? Can you say
12.
which school it
the
is?
school is the All Saints College.
So it's a Catholic school, isn't it?
Yes, and what they
Anglican, or
what
it's a
they're
religious school?
particularly
Okay.
worried about is that it causes kids to become depressed and have eating disorders.
And they're blaming social media, I believe, too.
Seeing it on social media.
So what's
And
the gist of the story,
Well, what
Cameron?
they're doing is they're bringing in a spokesperson who will, in fact, help the kids decipher what's going on, so that when they see this in adverts, etc., sexualisation.
Are we
they
talking
can
about
then
kids being
take it out.
promoted sexually at the age of 13, aren't we, in magazines?
That's what they're
and things
trying
like
to
that?
combat.
Can I get a quick answer from all of you? Ted, what do you think?
Well, I think it's, let little girls be little girls.
And little boys be
and
little
little boys be little boys, yeah.
Yep, Barbara?
I fully agree. I think it's damaging all this, uncontrolled information that comes.
Natalie?
I think it's safer just to, if the kids are on social media, just let them look up hairy stockings.
Thank you.
So they
Thank you
feel
very
good
much.
about body
God, you're
hair.
a class
That is
act,
it. We're
Nat.
right out of time. Can I just say thank you very much to Cameron Kippen for being on today. Natalie Foster, thank you very much for talking hairy legs. Barbara McNaught, thank you for revealing a personal secret. And Ted, thank you for supporting Julia Gillard.
I don't think we should have Natalie back,
Boo!
Fred.
No.
Not after those comments.
Quite a hairy
I
topic.
shaved my legs for crying
That is
Yeah,
bitchin'
live
for
on
another week. And
television.